You know, when you sit down at a chessboard, that very first move you make, it's so much more than just a move. It's a statement. It's you telling your opponent who you are and what kind of fight this is going to be. Today, we're going to explore just that, how that first move can define your entire style as a player. Let's get into it. Okay, before we even think about touching a piece, let me ask you something. In life, what are you, a sprinter or a marathon runner? Do you love that explosive, fast-paced action? Or are you someone who likes to build a long-term plan, just one patient step at a time? Seriously, think about it, because your answer might just be the key to unlocking your chess personality. So here's the game plan. We're going to start by defining the two main styles of play. Then we'll dive into the openings that fit each style, from the all-out sprint of open games to the strategic marathon of closed games. We'll even explore, let's call it the Mavericks path, for those of you who like to play by your own rules. And finally, we'll wrap it all up to help you find your own first move. So what does that statement of intent really boil down to? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental choice you make with your pawns. Are you going to blow the game wide open and create tactical fireworks? Or are you going to build a fortress, a closed game, for a deep strategic struggle? That single decision sets the tone for everything that comes after. And here they are, the two worlds side by side. On the left, you've got the sprint, the open game. Pawns get traded off early, which opens up highways for your pieces to zoom across the board. It's all tactical, super fast-paced, and every single move, what we call tempo, is absolutely king. Make one mistake, bam, game over. Then on the right, you have the marathon, the closed game. The center gets all clogged up with pawn chains. It's a much slower, maneuvering style where it's all about patience and having a deep, long-term strategic plan. All right, first up, the sprinters. If you're the kind of player who just loves chaos right from the get-go, if you enjoy quick development and the thrill of launching an attack on your opponent's king practically out of the gate, then open games are definitely your home turf. And these games almost always start with the classic 1e4, e5. And you absolutely cannot talk about open games without talking about the big one, the king of them all, the Ruy Lopez, also known as the Spanish opening. This thing is ancient, one of the most respected openings ever, and a total favorite of world champions for hundreds of years. Let's see what it looks like. See that move right there? 3b5. White's bishop is attacking that knight on c6, which, if you notice, is the main defender of black's pawn in the center. Now, the goal isn't just to win a pawn right away. It's about creating this nagging pressure, messing with black's pawn structure, and building an advantage that lasts. There's a reason they call it the Spanish torture, you know? The pressure is subtle, but it is relentless. But here's what's so wild about it. Despite that scary nickname, you look at the stats, and the Ruy Lopez is an almost perfectly balanced fight. I mean, look at that. The win rates for white and black are nearly identical, and draws are just as likely. So what does that tell you? It's not a magic bullet for white. It's a guarantee of a rich, super complex fight where both players have a real shot. Okay, another classic sprint is the Italian game. This one is also one of the oldest openings in chess. We're talking 16th century here. And man, is it direct. It can lead to some absolutely wild tactical positions, like the famous and terrifying Friedliver attack. So remember how the Ruy Lopez put pressure on that knight? Well, here, with the move 3bc4, white's bishop just goes straight for the jugular. It aims directly at black's weakest spot on the board, that f7 pawn. The plan is simple and aggressive. Develop fast, control the center, and get ready for an early knockout attack. It's the perfect choice for players who want to grab the initiative from move 1. Okay, let's take a deep breath and slow things way down. Time to talk about the marathon runners. If you're the kind of player who really enjoys building up tiny advantages, slowly maneuvering your pieces into the perfect spots, and then executing a deep, long-term plan, well, then closed games are for you. And the absolute classic example here is the queen's gambit declined. White starts by offering up a pawn on c4, trying to lure black's central d5 pawn away. But with that move, 2e6, black is basically saying, nope, not interested, and instead focuses on building a solid center. And this is what a closed game is all about. Look at those long interlocking pawn chains right in the middle of the board. That structure makes any kind of direct, flashy attack really, really hard. So instead, the battle becomes all about positional play. You're looking for weak pawns, trying to control key squares, and just slowly, methodically outmaneuvering your opponent. But hold on, what if you don't fit into either of these boxes? What if you're not a pure sprinter or a pure marathon runner? What if you're, well, a bit of a maverick? Someone who just loves to take your opponent out of their comfort zone and into a weird, creative game they've never seen before. This is where flank openings come into play. Flank openings are just what they sound like. You start by moving a pawn on the side or the flank of the board. And their biggest advantage? Surprise. Total surprise. You immediately throw your opponent off their game. You take them out of book, as they say. All that memorization they did, poof, out the window. Now they have to actually think for themselves, right from move 1. Now, the most famous and, let's be honest, most respected flank opening has got to be the English opening, starting with 1c4. It's a super flexible and positional way to play, and a lot of top players love it when they want to create a complex strategic battle on their own terms. So, that first move, c4, it's sneaky. It doesn't just plant a flag in the middle of the board. Nope. It's more like a sniper, controlling that crucial d5 square from the side. And this creates incredible flexibility. The game can morph into a queen's gambit, or a Sicilian defense, or something totally new. It's really the top choice for the creative strategist. So, with all this in mind, how in the world do you find your move? Well, let's take a look at a really famous example of a fighting defense for black, the Sicilian dragon. This is a Maverick's kind of opening that leads straight into a sprinter's kind of fight. It is tactical, it is sharp, and it is incredibly complex. Okay, look at these moves. They really do tell a story. Black isn't playing passively here. With c5, Black immediately creates an imbalance. They basically let White build a big pawn center and then get ready to attack it. And the key move is that last one, g6. It looks pretty quiet, right? But it's actually preparing to unleash Black's most powerful weapon. And why dragon? Well, the story goes that players way back when thought this pawn structure on the king side looked like the constellation Draco in the night sky. The bishop that's about to pop out on g7 in a move called a fianchetto becomes the dragon's heart, breathing fire all the way across the board. This often leads to one of the most brutal battles in all of chess. White castles on the queen side, black castles on the king side, and it's an all-out race to see who can checkmate the other king first. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Okay, so let's put it all together. It's time to figure out who you are. Are you the sprinter, ready for the tactical slugfest of a Rui Lopez or an Italian game? Are you the marathon runner, patiently building up your position in a queen's gambit? Or are you the maverick, creating chaos with the English or embracing the fire of the Sicilian dragon? Knowing your style, that's the first step to choosing your weapon. But look, knowing all this theory is one thing. The real secret? It's not in a book. The real learning happens right there, over the board. You've got to play games, you've got to lose games. And, just like the saying goes, you have to learn from those losses. That's the only way to really make an opening your own. So, I want you to think about this the next time you sit down at the board. The clock is ticking. Those 64 squares are waiting for you. Your hand reaches for a piece, for that one single first move. What's it going to be? And more importantly, what's it going to say about you?
Hope you like our video. Don't forget to comment, share and subscribe us. To join our insightful Chess Anurag classes, WhatsApp or call us at given number. Thanks for watching.